Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry. I'm in Longmont, Colorado, and I'm going to video for you the Dougherty Museum. And they specialize basically in three things: antique cars, antique farm equipment, tractors and such, and also pianos and organs. And they have several player pianos. So come on in with me and I'll show you around. So mostly what they have here is antique cars. So I'm just going to go slowly down the line here. Looks like this one needs a paint job. 29 Ford Model A Roadster. And this is an electric car, which way back in the day was actually, I think, a lot more popular than they are today. 17 Studebaker, 28 Studebaker, 24 Buick, and this one doesn't say, or that one. And you'll never guess what kind of truck this is. Unrestored. It is, how about that? Fairly good shape for obviously not restored. Here's a tractor. 1918 Minneapolis. Wow. 1913 Case. Tractor. Looks like this one was left out in the sun for decades. 1920 Case. Tractor. 1930 Case. 1937. And here we have 1935 McCormick Deering Farmall. And this is an odd looking one. 1919 Samson. Now this is a grain threshing machine. Wow. Oh, and what have we here? 1915 Threshing Cook Car. You know, I think we can go inside. Well, all it has is benches and tables and a stove. It's hard to see in the dark here. I see this big heavy steel tractor. Believe it or not, 10 or 20 horsepower, one cylinder engine. Oh, wow. Boy, they got a lot of tractors here. 1925 Fordson, 20 horsepower. 1920 Twin City. And here's an old rusty one. 1916 Hyder. 1935 McCormick Deering. And here's an old truck, which is a 1930 Chevrolet. And look at the equipment on that one. That's a 23 Ford 1-ton truck. 4-cylinder engine Model T. Here's a 1917 Traffic, I guess is the brand. Flatbed with some equipment on it. 1926 Hart Par tractor. 1937 John Deere. 1930 John Deere. Oh, look at this rusty old thing. 1925 Caterpillar, 2-ton. 1930 Caterpillar. 1935 Caterpillar. And a 1928 Caterpillar. Wow. Wonder what it took to collect all these tractors. This is just a steam engine. Probably used to, boy, I don't know. And here we have a 1916 Galloway. That's some special use equipment. And look at this gigantic thing behind it. That is a 1925 K, 65 horsepower. Man, that thing has got to be 15 feet high. Portable tilting table, cord wood saw. And here's another huge one behind it there. Huh. Another tall one. 1910 Fairbanks Morse portable gas engine. 1916 Avery is that big red one. And here's a fire truck. 1928 American LaFrance. Oh, look at this little guy. Original Irish mail hand car. Wow. I bet you've never seen one of those. Am I right, people? Now we're back to some cars. 1919 Locomobile. Never heard of that. Sure is a nice one. And this green one, it's a 24 Rolls Royce, 1918 Cadillac, 1917 Studebaker. Wow, didn't know Studebaker made cars look like that. 1916 Franklin. And this big red one is 1913 Lozier. Interesting. There's a 16 Packard, and this is a 16 Stutz. And this red one is a 20 Pierce Arrow. There's another grain threshing machine, and man, this thing is a monster. Wow, that thing is huge. And here's another gigantic tractor. Let's see what it says. 1913, 30 to 60 horsepower. Amazing, these things could work on such low horsepower. And this thing is, man, that wheel, this wheel is taller than I am. About 6 feet or so. 1918 Altman and Taylor. Wow. I can't believe the horsepower is so low on these things. This is another monster tractor. 1916 Altman and Taylor. 30-60 horsepower. Now, I don't know why they're giving 2 horsepower ratings. They all do that. And maybe you know what that means. I don't. I also don't know what a harrow cart is. I'm not sure if it's hooked to this. I don't think it's hooked to it, but it goes under it. This is, what is this? Porta drill for drilling water wells. It says water well drilling truck. Wow. Now they got a line here of carriages, horse-drawn carriages. And this is a farm wagon with grain box. Mitchell medium duty farm wagon with grain box. And this is Studebaker lightweight covered wagon. Two-horse Berlin style carriage with coachman seat. And a one-horse, two-passenger buggy. And look at this, they got a barbed wire collection. Let's look at some of those up close. This one's a little unusual here. Wow. Wonder how they made them things. And here is a U.S. mail. 1867 Concord Overland Stagecoach. Wells Fargo. Here's another mail wagon. One-horse cutter. And this is a lot of these things have no idea what they are. All sorts of farm implements. Never spent much time on a farm, so I wouldn't know. Bobsled? Wow, that's a bobsled. Okay, you farm people, guess what this is? If you guess this, you're right. This is a corn sheller, clipper grain cleaning, fanning mill. Standard grain cleaning, fanning mill. Kentucky one-horse walking grain drill. Man, this is a very unusual collection. I was debating whether to video this museum or not, because I've been in so many car museums, but this one's got some really unusual stuff. Like this 1915 Stanley steamer with 4 bench seats. Guess it could hold 8 to 12 people. 1912 EMF. I wonder what that stands for. And here we have 1909 Fuller. And this is a 1906 Stevens Duryea. Yeah, I've seen that name in museums before. A 1910 Ford. Horizontal corn binder. Vertical corn binder. 15-inch silage cutter. And this is the Moline one-row corn cultivator. McCormick Daring 7-foot grain binder. Wow, look at that. And here's a similar one made by John Deere. And this is a 1911 John Deere Model A manure spreader. And look at this thing from 1890. Got a few more cars. That's a 1914 Metz, 1909 REO, 1910 Cadillac, 1909 International, and the 1908 Cadillac. Here's an electric car from 1908, an 03 Cadillac, and a 1902 Mobile steamer. That's all the cars. Now we go into the piano and organ section. Here's a player piano, that looks like you could just attach it to any piano. A portable player. (1878) Steinway square grand piano. (1910) SD Church reed organ. And here's a built-in player piano.
Johnson's Smorgasbord up in Central City. And all you had to do is put a quarter in it. We used to go up there and the Smorgasbord had a bar right through the door. Our kids used to, in the 70s, used to love it. But this thing, oh boy, they got speed now.
Here's another player, and it says music changed weekly. It's a 28 Wurlitzer. And got several more over here. This is a 1896 Wilcox and White player reed organ. 1908 concert roller organ. 1916 Edison phonograph. Got a 1920 Victrola, 22 Brunswick phonograph, 23 Victor phonograph, and a 23 Edison phonograph. And here's an 1890 Aeolian player reed organ. Wow, look at this little thing. This is a 1922 radio, 1925. 1890 Olympia Swiss music box. Wow, haven't seen one of those before. Here's another music box, 1896 Stella Swiss. And look at this thing. That is old style, 1910 Victor. They called it a talking machine. 1910 Edison phonograph. Look at that speaker. Wow. Went right down to the cylinder here. We also have a rifle collection and one of these old telephones. So old I've never even had one like that. I've seen them in movies where they move this up and down and then you crank this to ring the bell. And in the lobby here, they've got some old Montgomery Ward catalogs. Well folks, if you're ever going through Longmont, Colorado, just a little ways north of Denver, stop by here. I think you'll enjoy it. Good day folks.